Welcome. We've got Courtois here. He's the first one who's going to speak. Then Xavi Alonso. We'll talk about it at the end of the press conference ahead of Real Madrid's clash with Juve in the Champions League.
500 with Real Madrid, where you've already won 2 European Cups along with plenty of other titles. With all that experience you've got, what would you say is the most important thing to beat a big team like Juventus tomorrow?
No, I'm really proud to have reached that number. I think that when you were a kid, you dreamed about playing a game for Real Madrid, and now you've hit 300, so yeah, it makes me feel really proud. And in the end, that's it. We know that tomorrow we're up against a giant of Europe. Covington haven't been on a good run lately, but that just makes them a more dangerous team. And you know they've got a lot of quality, both on defense and on offense. It's going to be a tough game we need to face. Right from the very first second. Show we're at home with intensity. If we do that, I'm expecting a good result.
Good morning, I'm Jose Luis Sanchez for the youth segment on La Sexta. The other day, the president of Barcelona, Mr. Laporta, said it seemed like there was a white hand influencing the referees, hinting that the refs are on your side. What do you think?
Well, I think he says that because he kind of has to, given everything that's happened. Well, the whole Negreira case and all that. I think that since I've been at Real Madrid, I've never felt like we've been favored in anything, more like the opposite. Well, in the end, referees are human, just like players and coaches. There might be the occasional mistake, but I don't feel like we've ever been given any favors.
Watch out, huh? Negreira case said what?
How's it going, Sergio? Time for El Desmark. Now that the Miami game between Villarreal and Barcelona finally has a date, a few of your teammates, Carvajal and Ceballos, have talked about the competition being tampered with. I wanted to know what you think about this game, with it being played in Miami, and if you believe, most importantly, that it messes with the competition.
Yeah, it totally messes up the competition. Then it's easy to talk about sending the NFL. The NBA has 82 games where in the end they're fighting for a playoff spot. It doesn't change anything for them. NFL is voted on by all the team owners. They've doubled the games because it works in their favor. They want it and everybody voted for it. And here it's the opposite. Here it's a league that puts them in just because they feel like doing it. And I think messing with the competition, besides the fact that it doesn't follow the players' agreement. It breaks that rule, and I mean, I just think it's not right. So in the end, obviously, I think we had to play both at home and away. It's not the same playing a team at home as playing them away. We all know that in the league, playing away from home is really tough, as we've seen. Like what happened to us against Real Sociedad, against Getafe. These are tough games, and playing away is always a hard match. Then they can win it. Yeah, lose it or whatever. But I think everyone's got to play at home and away unless there's some major reason not to, which we obviously hope won't happen because sometimes it can happen in today's world. But if not, I think you've got to play both at home and away.
AI has been great here, right here in the back. Except for the derby that we already remember what happened. It's true that the team's defensive performance has been pretty solid. Not just 5 clean sheets, no, all 11 games. They've really kept up with those runs since he arrived. I don't know if you, even though you still have to pull off miracles like you did the other day in the Getafe game, do you feel more at ease this season? Knowing you've got more support around you, this season, do you feel your teammates have your back more on defense?
Well, I think in the end, they're just different moments. I think even a derby match could bring us back to that. I think a lot of the goals came from set pieces where we can still get better. I think that one was the first corner. Second ball, the second one comes from a throw-in. Third comes the penalty after a corner. Fourth from a foul, and only 5 in the last second. I think in the end, overall, we're defending really well with 11. With good intensity, we're trying to push really high up. And well, in the end, I just have to be ready. Against Getafe, it was a pretty calm game, in quotes. Well, that last second comes along, and as the keeper for a big team, you've got to show up there too.
How's it going, man? Van Martin from OK Diario. Following up on the Miami game, the other day, all the teams in the league staged a protest, including Barcelona and Villarreal. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the league censoring that protest? Isn't that kind of undemocratic?
Well, I don't know why you're surprised, because it's been like that for a while now. Doing those things, making public statements on social media, and I'm telling you, I already told him, from the Club World Cup, I've never seen a league president from any sport talking like that. Nope, nothing. I think hiding it and also changing the reason why we're protesting is censorship. And it's manipulation, and that's serious.
Talking trash, huh? Trash talk.
Marcos de la Rosia, live on El Chiringuito's Twitch, wanted to ask you about Vinicius. What do you notice about him day to day since you know him as a person?
Do you think sometimes people are unfair to him?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's easy. He's a kid who, well, he's not really a kid anymore, but at 18, a lot of you have even made fun of him. It's not easy. I think every time he steps into a stadium, like the other day in Getafe, he didn't do anything wrong. He came in, and from the very first second, they were against him. So it's normal that sometimes he gives a little response without, I think, trying to provoke, without disrespecting. They've been after her from the start all the way to the end. He's thrown the opponent off against the one who's supposed to try that on you. I think he's handled it really well. His coming onto the field helped us create more danger. They look for him, and for us, he's helped us find that goal, and that's it. I think in the end, they've been really unfair to him. I think he's a great guy, a really good kid, and he's already got a lot of experience in that. In the end, he just needs to keep doing his thing, which he does well, and help the team. I think he's off to a great start this season with plenty of goals and assists. I'm expecting more of that tomorrow and on Sunday.
Wow, what a press conference. He's not holding back at all, and he's really going off. Yeah, nice.
I've met them these past few days. There's a pretty good chance that this season, the international board might test out a new offside rule, the banger rule. Not sure if you know the exact rule. That's a good one. It's a rule that really affects the dot of flow of the games and seriously changes the offside rule. The biggest impact is probably on the defenders and on the goalkeepers. Like you, I'd like to know what you think. If this actually went through, do you think this would be a real turning point in soccer? And what if you think this change to the offside rule is okay? So that means the whole player, the striker, the attacking player has to have his entire body ahead of the defender for it to be offside?
Offside? Yeah, I'm not sure if that's really the change football needs the most. I think wasting time, for example, as goalkeepers get called for the 8 seconds, but then there's a throw-in where some team wastes 30 seconds. So I think that for the flow of the games, I think that could change other things. First, about the offside rule. Yeah, I agree that sometimes being just 1 millimeter offside doesn't really help you score a goal. But come on, what's next? That we've got to measure the open space between the defender's body and the forward's body. I don't know how VAR is going to pull that off, get the exact frame. Well, I think it's going to be tricky. Yeah, and I think maybe some team or a few teams now push the lineup a bit more because, well, you can play with that advantage, but if the striker can get the jump on you when you leave that space, maybe teams could defend further back. So it's not always going to mean more goals just because we changed the rule. Yeah, it's true. I think that in Belgium the other day, Irene's brother had a goal taken away, and honestly, you could barely see the difference. And there, yeah, I agree, that should count as a goal, but then where do you draw the line? And that's really hard to find.
How's it going? Miguel Serrano, live for Radio Marca. I wanted to dig deeper into the thoughts you shared about Vinicius regarding Sunday. You said he drove the opponent crazy against players who were trying a bit to throw him off. I wanted to ask if you feel that Vinicius now handles himself better in those situations, if he's learned a bit to come out unscathed. Because up until a few seasons ago, we'd see that whenever it provoked him, he'd get frustrated and check out of the game.
Yeah, I think it's not always easy when a whole stadium is after you and the players are roughing you up. And I think that's not easy. I think he's really gotten better at that. In the end, it's something I've always seen him do really well. because when I played with him at Chelsea and we'd go play away at Stoke City, teams like that, it was kind of the same type of player they look for when they want to throw you off your game. And I think if he's learned how to live with conflict and even throw his rivals off their game, that's good. There's one I've had on my team. I think Diego Costa was better at that. I think back at Chelsea, he drove Premier League defenders crazy because he kept doing that. I think if Vini can do the same and find his best game by doing that, then for us, it's perfect. But for us, it's important that he stays focused on the game and on what the coach asks of him. Why play his game? Because he's one of the best in the world.
Hey, man. It's Damian Castia Olivero here. For real friends, I wanted to ask you, how do you get ready for such a demanding week with a Champions League match against Juve and the Clásico this weekend? And what message do you want to send to the fans, since you've got these two games at home with the support of the Santiago Bernabéu crowd? Thanks.
No, well, in the end, the preparation's the same. Train well, recover well, rest well, eat well, and be ready tactically. And then to the fans, well, they cheer us on like crazy. We've seen plenty of examples over the past few years when the Bernabéu turns into a volcano. That really impresses the rivals, even if they've got tons of experience. And even if there's a tough moment in the game, we hope they keep cheering us on, because that really helps. Like, I don't know, putting up a wall in front of the goal or keeping up our full-on defense so it gives us that extra energy to keep fighting. Well, the 90 and extra time.
Shall we do the last two questions, the big ones?
How's it going, Juanma Sanchez from Radio Nacional? Last year, you lost 3 games in this stage of the Champions League. I don't know if this season you've gotten off to a better start, or if you've set it as a main goal to finish in the top 8 so you don't have to play that playoff. Thanks.
Yeah, obviously it's a goal to finish in the top 8. I think it makes the road a bit easier for you. Plus, it gives you a break for a week, and in February, not having to play 2 more games. And that's it. I think that's why it's important that tomorrow we win, so we start 9 out of 9. Do you have a tough away game at Olympiacos later? Obviously, City's coming here. But hey, if you start strong, you finish strong. And last year, they were solid at home against Milan. But we lost, and it's a good choice for this season.
Last question, the questions, is there Gariel Smith from Spotify.
About Vinicius, the locker room. In the locker room, do you guys want him to keep handling things with the opponent like that, or would you rather he just ignore it? Well, I don't really care. I just want him to play well, keep doing his thing, and feel ready to bring out his best version. Keep scoring goals, keep racking up assists, and help the team. And if he plays like this, I think the other day, he didn't really do anything wrong. I think the other day, the rivals were going after him. The opponents were constantly looking for him. They were provoking him, hitting him when he didn't even have the ball. With that second yellow, for example, defender Diego came in from behind and hit him, and finally, the ref stepped in and gave Vinicius a bit of protection. And we just don't let defenders go around hitting other players when they're not with the ball. I think that second card was totally deserved.
Thanks.